Good morning, everyone who is joining us this morning. Thank you for being here. I am happy once again to welcome our teacher this morning, Caverly Morgan. Before I make a couple of announcements, I'll just do the usual reminder that the format for today, as always with these morning meditations, if you have been coming, is a 30-minute guided meditation, followed by a question and answer period. And for that question and answer period, if you would ask your question in the little ask a question spot here under the screen, or you can also type your question in the sidebar in the chat box. And if you're willing to come on screen and engage live with Caverly, I know she always really welcomes and enjoys that. So please indicate in your question if that is welcome for you. And then also below my head, there is this green donate button, and just a gentle reminder that Sangha Live is the world's largest online platform that welcomes anyone in the Dharma community to join, and they really do rely on donations to support the pretty amazing teachers that they host on this platform. So please, if you're able to donate at this time, click on that green button. By way of announcements, there's some exciting things happening through Caverly's, the organization that she is both the founder of and the guiding teacher for, Presence Collective. One thing that's happening this month is that Presence Collective, along with a lot of Dharma platforms, are really trying to uplift, highlight, and get out of the way so that Black teachers can really share their wisdom. And so this month, there are two pretty amazing Black teachers who will be teaching through Presence Collective on the Thursday webinars. So Thursdays at 2 p.m., be on the lookout for Dr. Sarah King and Michelle Cassandra Johnson, who will both be hosting webinars this month. And I'll put information about those in the sidebar once Caverly comes on screen. Another exciting thing happening is that tomorrow, Caverly did a pre-recorded session with Dr. Sarah King, and that will air tomorrow for a free compassion, I think it's the Mindfulness and Compassion Global Summit, and I'll put information for that in the sidebar as well. But that pre-recorded conversation will air for that Global Summit tomorrow, and then Caverly and Dr. Sarah King will also be live answering questions post that pre-recorded interview, I believe. And then the last announcement to make is just to also remind folks that there is a retreat coming up at the end of July that Caverly and others will be leading. So I'll also post information for that in the sidebar. And I think that's it from me. With that, I'll welcome Caverly. Enjoy your morning meditation.
Thank you, Cassandra. I really appreciate you and your service. Thank you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, friends. Oh, you can't hear. I wonder, Cassandra, maybe you could put something in the sidebar to tell me if folks can hear me. Give me a shout. Oh, okay. All right, great. So let's see who said it. Patricia, looks like it might be on your end. Okay, can hear. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. All right, hello from London. Hi from California, Argentina, Germany, Sacramento, Mary Jane, Texas, I'm guessing still. France, Houston, Charlottesville, good morning, Paris, Olympia, thank you. Thank you so much for being here. I feel like I've now done these calls enough that I feel like I need a Mr. Rogers routine or something, like some way to like, yeah. Starting to feel like such a ritual to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Maybe someone can write us a theme song as well. All right, thank you. Thank you for being here. from Bristol, from London. Yeah. Sharon, thanks for that tip. Yes, refreshing the browser often helps. Friends, before today's sit, I brought something quite short, a very short reading for today's sit. And before we jump in, I'd love to hear a few words from you. I'd love to hear 1, 2, or 3 words that describe what you're present to in this moment, what you're aware of, what's alive, what's here now. John and Nancy, we have thought of you as our Mr. Rogers. Hello, friends. Yeah, I'm telling you, it's working for me right now. I'm honored to be compared to Mr. Rogers. Okay. What are you present to? What's alive? What's here now? Gratitude. Patricia, thank you. It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood, Jan. San, open, gratitude. Lucky. Hi again, Ian. Clinton, connection. Community. Yeah, it is amazing, isn't it? Exhaustion, relaxation, slowness. Thank you, Sarah. It's amazing how, though many of you have never seen your face, there's such a deep sense of kinship through these calls. Virtual love from Argentina. Kiki, appreciation for these sessions. Back to you, Kiki. Appreciation for your presence, your consistent presence. Looking forward to the session, Evelyn. Lovely. Gratitude. Addie, loss. Thank you. Happiness. At the same time, hope and hopelessness. Yes, many people are reporting that to me right now. The duality of action and rest, common humanity, warmth, tenderness. Glad it's the end of the week. I'm hoping we'll all have a better week next week. Nervous, too little time. Feeling change coming on, good change. Yeah, there have been some significant shifts, some significant movement. That's worth acknowledging for sure. Yeah. Friends, thank you. We will move into our meditation now. And then again, thank you for being here. Cassandra will be posting those links soon, whenever's convenient, Cassandra. And I do want to invite you again to check out this summer retreat. It's such, as you felt from these morning calls, it's such an important time to be practicing together, grounding into the rhythm of shared practice. I'd love to share an intensive time of practice with you and get to introduce you to these lovely, lovely people that I'm collaborating with. Yeah, dichotomies are interesting. Joy with grief, Ellen. John, hoping that the change continues. Yeah. Patricia, a new paradigm seems to be coming. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Ellen. Yes, gratitude in us coming together as well. So, we shall sit. In this practice, I and all the teachers through Peace in Schools speak a lot about reassurances, unconditionally loving statements that are reflections of truth. These are not affirmations. This is not, oh, you're the best. You're the smartest person in the room. These are not statements that feed the ego or the sense of a separate self. These are reminders of what's true, reminders of what's real when we're identified with the conditioning that has us feeling, that leaves us feeling separate from life. One hand posture, a mudra of compassion that I want to offer today is placing the right hand on the center of the chest and the left hand right where the ribs come in together to touch. So the fourth and the third chakras. You don't have to, I know for many people, even the thought of chakras can be a little triggering. It's some sort of woo-woo, too kind of out there, quote unquote, thing. That's fine. Don't get hung up on that. You could think of it as just placing one hand on the energy center of the heart and one hand on the energy center of the, just right below the rib cage. In other words, just feeling the energy of the heart and then the energy of the breath right below the belly. I noticed that I had just said if chakras are too woo-woo for you, don't worry about it. You can just focus on energy centers. But imagine if chakras are too woo-woo, energy centers are too woo-woo. Basically, the point is, don't worry about any of it. Just for a moment, feel your heart. And then that area right above the belly, the area where many people report that they feel anxiety, like a fluttering. Many people report that when they're feeling great anxiety, it's a fluttering here. Now, if the chakras interest you, we're placing our hands on the heart, the place of not only unconditional love, but the place of possibility. And the will center, the third chakra is the will center, how our actions manifest in the world. So we're allowing the energy of the heart to bleed into the will, to touch the will, the place of possibility to touch the will. And then look to see who's here right now. Who's up? What aspect of the personality, if any, is up? So, for example, the one who thinks that there's not enough time, that's an aspect of the personality. The one who's feeling almost total emotional fatigue. These are your comments. That's an aspect of the personality or a part of you that's having that experience. So spend a moment just allowing that part of you to feel held, to be held. So whoever's here now gets to be held in this mudra of compassion, this embrace of compassion. And then look to see, does this part of you need to hear anything or need to know anything? Offer an unconditionally loving reassurance now. An example of a reassurance might be something like, I'm here, I love you no matter what. It's okay. You got this, I'm with you. I see you. If it feels very nourishing for your hands to be in that position, you're welcome to leave them there as long as you'd like. You could also release them now. While staying connected to this felt sense of reassurance. To being held by this embrace of compassion. And to resting in the heart for today's meditation, just being in the heart. Listening to the heart. Claiming the heart as home. The very short reading that I mentioned I brought for you today is by Bertolt Brecht. Let the attention continue to rest in the heart as you receive these words. In the dark times, will there also be singing? Yes. There will also be singing about the dark times. In these dark times, will there also be singing? Yes, there will also be singing about the dark times. So if for any part of you, for every part of you, it may feel like if you're in touch with darkness, injustice, difficulty, rather than resisting that, trying to change that, what does it mean for you internally to sing. Not to sing some like song that's to try to make you feel better, not some kind of jingle that's to try to cheer you up. Remember, these reassurances, this mudra of compassion is about embracing what is while keeping your eye on the truth of okayness, the truth of our true nature, which is untarnished by even the darkest of times. So letting this song, if you will, this expression of felt experience be on behalf of whatever part of you might wish to express their experience without that extra conditioned layer of you should be able to let go, or you shouldn't be having that experience. Just allow the song. Celebrate the song. Honor the song that's here. As you rest in the heart. Honor whatever part of you is here as you rest in the heart. Honor everything, even the pain that comes as we feel change upon us. Honor the dichotomies, the new paradigm that seems to be coming. Honor the nervousness. Honor certainly our common humanity. Honor this felt sense of loss. Honor the exhaustion, the relaxation, and the slowness rather than identifying with a conditioned temptation to push or change that experience. Honor it. Honor the almost total emotional fatigue. Lean into whatever reassurance resonates the most for you today. And if one isn't resonating, that's not bad or wrong. You might simply repeat the simple phrase, I love you. Either lean into it energetically for the rest of this sit, just allowing that reassurance to be at the forefront of your experience. Or actually practice with that reassurance as a mantra. So inhaling, allowing the inhale to fill the body, and then exhaling. And as you exhale, I see you. I'm with you. Or inhaling, and then as you exhale, I love you. Again, your choice. How you'll be with this reassurance for the next 10 minutes, which will be in silence. And just a loving reminder that there's no way to do this wrong. Friends, thank you. Thank you for your presence. This is the moment in which I invite you to support this work, these teachings, the flourishing of these teachings through more than what's just offered here. Sangha Live, as Cassandra mentioned, is the largest platform that we know of in the world offering teachings that have such integrity. There's, as someone mentioned on these calls once, there's so much out there right now. It's nice to know that there's a channel, if you will, that can be trusted. All the teachers that come through Sangha Live have such deep histories with practice that I've seen. And I really appreciate that about this platform. So please support if you can. And then know that half the donation comes to me, actually Presence Collective, and Peace in Schools goes straight into supporting the nonprofit work that I do. So please be as generous as you can. Patricia, thank you. Thank you for your acknowledgement. Now is a moment in which I would love to have any of you, whoever would like, to, come on screen. Let's have a chat. Or you could also write in the sidebar. Folks who come here regularly know that I love when I get to have an actual exchange with you. There were some people yesterday that I mentioned, I'd love to talk more about this. I don't know if you're with us today, Sandy, or if it's an option to come on, but it would be great to have an exchange. But open to anyone, open to if you just want to write in the sidebar. Yeah. Richard, thank you for your comma. Meta 8503. I don't know what that means. I know what meta means. So if you're new to that word, it's a practice of loving kindness. But I'm curious about the significance of that number. You're welcome to come on if you want to have a chat. Or you could write it in. So what are you present to now? Perhaps you're not up for an exchange. Perhaps you'd rather just give a few words, as we did at the beginning of the sit, to what's alive for you now? What's here now? Are they the same words? Have they shifted or changed? What are you present to? I'm just noticing. Spencer, amazing. The heart felt always open, willing, equanimous. And the solar plexus was full of pain. The heart kept holding it, accepting it, loving it. And the pain kept coming. It was my pain. It was the world's pain, and it kept coming. Nothing tried to fix it or make it go away. Even now, it comes, the immense pain that is manifesting all around us. And it's always held. I bow to the willingness to feel. Yes, it's true. It's true. It takes willingness to feel, doesn't it? And it's true, there's pain. Pain takes willingness, and practice is an incredible support to us as we choose to be with it rather than shy away. Okay, Richard, that was a mistake. I'll try to come on. I'm on a different computer. Okay, well, Richard, please do feel free to come on if you'd like. So Cassandra, if you could bring on Richard, we'll see if that works. Sharon, I am adequate to my experience. Yeah. Yes, as you know, that's something we focus on a lot through Peace in Schools and through what I offer via Presence Collective, knowing that we are adequate to our life experience. Trusting in that, seeing others as adequate to their life experience. Beautiful. Karen, more calm in rest. Yes, choosing rest. Patricia, wish the whole group a peaceful weekend. Yeah, thank you for your guidance. Thank you, Patricia, for being here. Sarah, feeling more peaceful, embodied, and grounded. Thank you. Yeah, lovely. Well, hello. Hi, Richard.
Well, there we go.
Good to see you.
Now?
Yes, good to see you from Charlottesville, Virginia.
I just lost you. It said unable to subscribe to stream in a reasonable amount of time.
Okay.
I guess I've lost you. Try to reconnect me.
Okay. So we see you. Yeah, Linda, thank you. While we're seeing if Richard can get back on. Linda, thank you for your comment. Felt the sometimes deep hole inside that is calling to be seen and loved. When we're moving around in the world and identified with the conditioned mind, it can be easy to overlook that hole that you're referring to. It can be easy to ignore it. All right.
Can you hear me?
We can.
Well, I'm having trouble because I loaded a new laptop because my regular desktop doesn't have the capability to even live stream back. But I'm delighted that this is working at least now. But my comment, and I was thinking about writing a long question, but I'll just sort of summarize it real briefly. I feel like I have a real beginner's mind in the Buddhist sense, but I've grown to appreciate a non-dual Zen Buddhist approach concerning my own personal growth as far as struggling with the past or worrying about the future and being somewhat, I guess, happy and successful and living in the now. I feel good about the personal growth. My challenge now is that based on what's going on in our country, I know there are a lot of people not here, but in the United States, well, it actually goes further than that. It goes around the world. But the tensions that we're under as a society and the moral and ethical decisions we're being faced with, I can't help but get concerned about the future. So how can I apply my personal living in the now with even though I won't be here for future generations, my descendants will be. And I'm concerned. So,
yeah.
Your thoughts?
Well, I very much. And Richard, we have a big echo on my end. Can you close one of your browsers? You have two browsers open.
I do?
Do you?
Oh.
I'm not able to respond because there's so much echo on my end.
Oh, I'm
Can you
sorry.
happen to, no problem. There was no echo when you were speaking, but now it's too much.
Yeah.
Is there an echo for other people? Maybe you could write in the sidebar. If it's not for other people, I could mute myself and give a response. Yes, there's an echo. So, Richard, do you have two Sangha Live browsers open by any chance?
Well, I'll try to. Let me just try something real quick. No?
Okay. Let me try muting myself. And folks on the sidebar, let me know if there's an echo. Okay. So now I can't hear that echo because I've muted myself. And so, Cassandra, it sounds like there's still an echo though. Anyone else chime in and tell me if there's still an echo? And Richard, thanks for your patience. I don't know exactly why this is happening, but I don't have an echo now, so I could respond now. Okay. Anyone else hearing an echo now? Still an echo. Okay. So Richard, if you could go off screen, and I'd like to respond. Thank you very much for calling in.
Yeah, just cut me off. Thank you.
Okay. So Richard, thank you for that incredibly important and timely question. Very, very timely. And the other thing I'm aware of is that this question has been relevant in all times. So there are two things that I'm noticing about this question. One is we're asking how can my own personal practice of bringing the attention to the present moment, staying here and now, how can that apply in the circumstances in which there's so much threat to our world based on what we see as kind of inevitable. The first piece that I want to point to, and actually the second piece that arose for me might just get woven in here, is the importance of questioning our relationship to time. We are conditioned to see the present moment as this fine little point on a line of time. So the past is here, the future is here, and the present moment is this little point on that line. When we're viewing it that way, we rarely pause to question how we're seeing time, but we're conditioned to view time in a linear fashion. That is time and space we view in a particular way through the lens of the conditioned mind. So from the perspective of the conditioned mind, we, meaning I, Caverly, get better through practice at keeping the attention on this little point that I call now. Oh, I'm thinking about the future. Come back to now. Oh, worried about the past. Come back to now. Noodling something I said yesterday, past. Come back now. Stressing about something that will be next week. Come back to now. That's a really valuable mindfulness practice. What I would encourage is next for you to have inquiry around is the turning the attention rather than to the habit, and I shouldn't say habit implies sort of conditioned habit and often the way that I use it. So the practice, rather than turning the attention to the practice of bringing the attention back to that point on the line again and again and again, let the attention rest in the awareness that's timeless. Let the attention settle in the consciousness that is timeless. Now, it's important to acknowledge that this isn't to say, oh, time's not real. It's to say that time's real on one plane of experience. In truth, in the deepest realm of experience, there is no time. But of course, in the same way that matter appears real from a particular view, we see the illusory nature of matter when we allow the attention to rest in pure consciousness. The same is true of time and space. So what might be an interesting question is, how do I then relate to that plane of reality in which there's past and future? You know, I am doing a retreat in July, not doing a retreat in this moment. How do I relate to that experience, knowing that all there actually is now? That retreat, let's say I'm planning for that retreat, that's happening now. The experience of being on the call with colleagues about the schedule we'll have for that retreat, that's happening now. Again, to say there's only now doesn't imply that we can't, quote unquote, plan for the future or look out for our children. Yes, it's incredibly important to be able to say, I want to leave this planet in a state that my descendants, as you said, will be able to thrive, and we're not making choices as a society that ensure that collectively. Imagine if collectively we all shared that intention, we'd be making different choices. So Richard, thank you so much for coming on and for sparking this conversation about now as more than just a little spot in a line of time. You'll also note that when we view time that way, we're keeping some sense of the separate self in place, because then we can beat ourselves up for, oh, I haven't been very in the moment today. I've been thinking about this. I've been thinking about that. Rather than recognizing that activity of the conditioned mind was actually all arising in now. Where else could it exist? So when we are perceiving time in that way, it's not that it's not real, it's that we're missing the reality of that particular quote unquote reality. So we're missing the timelessness in time when we engage in time as if it's truth. We're missing the timelessness in time. So we can engage in our collective view of time while knowing that time isn't quote unquote real. Again, you hear me wanting to acknowledge there, just in the same way that if we say your sense of self is just an illusion, that doesn't mean it's not real. It feels very real when we're identified with it, but we miss the reality of that illusion. Friends, thank you. this question about time and practice is rich. I do see that it's 9 o'clock, and I'll just end with Linda's. It looks like Linda it might not be a question, might be a statement. So I'll end with that. I've been grappling with the sense of urgency to act, and I'm awakening to the realization that this is that this very sense of time is part of white dominant culture. Thank you for naming that, Linda. Agreed. It is so deeply ingrained, and this sense of there is not enough time has often kept me focused on action rather than process. Excellent to see. Yeah, it's led in some instances to excluding rather than including people. Richard's question, your discussion of it has shed some light on this. Excellent. Thank you so much. I feel you. I hear you. Yeah. Okay. I can't resist. Last question or response. I see it's not a question. So Richard, just to bring in your comment, watching the process of the world and its changing content, I can step back and see the cycling of drama, resolution and drama again, and on, no problem, feeling less urgency about fixing it and maybe contributing to it. And yet there's still a service in my heart to act. Absolutely. It's Richard, what you're naming is being able to act from a different place. So if I'm acting from, for example, the conditioned tendency to believe there's not enough time, my actions are going to have a very different flavor, feel, quality, tone than if I'm acting from the recognition that there is no time. Playing the game of time, if you will, while knowing there is no time. Playing the game of apparent separateness while knowing that we are not separate. So for example, if I go in to talk to the Portland Public School Board, I don't start by saying we are one. But I can allow my knowing that we are one to infuse the conversation. A rich place for practice and for us to play. I invite you to have a sense of lightness and to play with this over the weekend. Thank you. Such a rich call. Thank you for your participation, and may you enjoy your timeless time until we meet again, which will be now. Thank you.